Start. MTC 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 01. Although simple repetition does help us learn, psychological research has found that we acquire information most effectively with elaboration, which is when we actively think about its meaning and relate the material to something we already know. If you want to remember the different perspectives of psychology, for instance, try to think about how each of the perspectives is different from the others. As you make the comparisons, determine what is most important about each one and then relate it to the features of the other perspectives. In an important study showing the effectiveness of elaborative encoding, Rogers, Kuiper, and Kirker found that students learned information best when they related it to aspects of themselves, a phenomenon known as the self-reference effect. Rogers, Kuiper, Kirker. This research suggests that imagining how the material relates to your own interests and goals will help you learn it. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 02. Unlike primary prevention, which aims to prevent diseases from occurring, secondary prevention emphasizes identifying diseases at their earliest stage and treating the conditions early. 1, 2. Research suggests that when disease is detected early, there is a far greater chance of treatment with a successful outcome. The healthcare system is sometimes called the curative system due to its focus on detecting and treating disease. Examples of secondary prevention are plentiful in the United States because of the number of people with chronic conditions, including high blood pressure or high blood cholesterol. 2. A person with either high blood pressure or blood cholesterol would be prescribed a drug that would help lower either his or her blood pressure or blood cholesterol. Managing chronic conditions by using prescription drugs is a feature of the healthcare system, which has made significant advances in treating chronic conditions. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 03. When things go wrong in technology and they always will, harm should be remedied quickly and compensated in proportion to actual damages. The assumption that any given technology will create problems should be part of its process of creation. The software industry may offer a model for quick correction. Bugs are expected, they are not a reason to kill a product, instead they are employed to better the technology. Think of unintended consequences in other technologies, even fatal ones, as bugs that need to be corrected. The more sentient the technology, the easier it is to correct. Rapid restitution for harm done, which the software industry does not do, would also indirectly aid the adoption of future technologies. But restitution should be fair. Penalizing creators for hypothetical harm or even potential harm degrades justice and weakens the system, reducing honesty and penalizing those who act in good faith. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 04. I remember when I first started my architectural designing business. The hardest thing for me to do was establish a billing rate for my services. I had no real sense of my value from a billing standpoint. I remember approaching my first client with an agreement, and I told him that I would charge $50 an hour, which in 1991 terms was low. 501991. He said to me, "You're worth more than that. I'm going to pay you $75 an hour." 75. And that's where I started. Some clients love hourly billing, because they know what they can expect. Other clients hate it, because they don't want you to have an open checkbook to bill all your hours no matter how inefficient you are. I understand both sides of the argument. But in the end you should be paid for the value you bring to the table. The true negotiator knows how to express his value to clients in a way that they understand what it is that they're paying for. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 05. In terms of attributions, we tend to overestimate the extent to which other people's character is responsible for their behavior. However, we tend not to make that error when judging our actions. This bias has come to be known as the fundamental attribution error. The main reason why the fundamental attribution error exists appears to be the salience of other people in our perceptions. In other words, people tend to be the most interesting things around us, so we normally pay attention to what they are doing, rather than to what other objects in that field are doing, including ourselves. Because our attention tends to be directed toward other people, it is natural for us to give responsibility to those people when we explain their actions. We are not as likely to have our attention directed toward other things in the situation that could be influencing the person's actions. In particular, we cannot see ourselves, so we tend to ignore the effect that our own behavior has on others. Yet, we are conscious of the effect other things in the situation, including other people, have on our own actions. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 06. In archaeology, ethnographic analogies played an important role as evidence for the human origin of prehistoric artifacts. Prehistoric stone tools, for example, were typically thought to be fossils that resulted from natural processes of rock formation in the earth, or to have fallen from the sky like meteorites. But, as scholars began to question the accepted view of fossils, they began to compare these stone tools with those that they found then in use among the natives of the Americas. They concluded that Europe had once been populated by peoples who had little or no knowledge of metallurgy and made their tools from stone just as the Indians did. For instance, in 1686 the British antiquarian Robert Plot noted that theories about the stone tools manufactured by ancient Britons could be constructed through comparison with the stone tools then manufactured by the North American Indians. 1686 Robert Plot. The realization that stone could be the basis of a whole technology eventually led to the concept of a Stone Age, in distinction to a Bronze Age and an Iron Age, for example. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 07. One of the most exciting areas of current neurological research is the transplantation of human fetal tissue into the brain to repair damage. The transplanted tissue consists specifically of stem cells, master cells that not only can regenerate themselves but also can develop into any type of tissue, such as muscle or nerve cells. This relatively new procedure is being explored as a possible treatment for strokes and degenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and Huntington's. The significant challenge is to get the newly introduced cells to make the proper connections so that the damaged circuits regrow. Many people oppose the use of fetal tissue for any research purposes, however, on religious or other philosophical grounds. Fortunately, many new methods are emerging that allow researchers to create stem cells by reprogramming adult cells. 2023 EBS Chapter 9 Number 08. There is increasing evidence that we are no longer governed by natural selection. Technology can and does take the place of biology and lead us into a new form of life, one not primarily governed by Darwinian process. The implications of being the first entity on our planet to escape natural selection are immense. We have never been wholly natural creatures, and we have evolved to be increasingly artificial. Even if we should want it, escape from technology is no longer possible. It may in fact be that technology has escaped us. The inertia of the entire system of technological civilization is by now so immense that the sorts of choices left for us to make in the future are essentially trivial. The ride we are now on may be unsustainable, or it may not, but there are many reasons for believing that we are incapable of getting off. Either we crash, or we continue our artificial rise. There is no soft landing into a quieter and more balanced world that utopian souls often dream of. MTC. Good job.